Hello, welcome to Talking Game. We just finished Watford 1, West Ham United 4. Came into this game out of form a little bit. A couple of players missed it as well, but solid performance from the Hammers, with one player in particular running particularly rampant. Simon Gonzo here to discuss the highlights, but before we get into the positive stuff, unfortunately, we've got to deal with the first negative thing. What's that? What are you saying one for?
The one negative thing. Don't worry, I was not interrupting. You carry on. I don't want to interrupt your flow.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, well, we've got to discuss the one negative thing. It took just 4 minutes for Watford to score. The danger man, everyone knew, was the threat that Watford carried. He cut in from the left-hand side. Dennis did. Wrapped it into the top corner, essentially.
Is that his last name, Dennis? Or is it his first? Maybe his first name and his last name. Dennis. We knew he was going to be a threat. And
I thought you were going to say he was going to be a menace. You've messed that right up. Do you want to try it again?
I did. And he was a menace, and he did put Dawson on his derriere with a little feint. We asked for a feint in a build-up, didn't we? But we wanted Ben Rama to do the feint, not Dennis to do it. And didn't he finish it well, Geo? Then he finished that really well. I'm not sure he even looked. He gave the goal the eyes. So the goal didn't even think he was aiming for the goal and put it right in that top corner. The thing is, I don't want to be too cross with Dawson, because that lunge thing that he does, that's how he gets his, he does a block in almost every game. That's how he gets the block doing that. Someone maybe done his homework with Dawson just a little bit quicker, a bit too skillful, just better than Dawson then at that point, wasn't he? And put him on his arse, made him look rather silly and finished really well. We were all worried at that point, weren't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. After 5 minutes, I was thinking, no, please not again, because they were just winning everything. There was a ball to do. Antonio went up, got beaten. It fell down. There was a 50-50. Lanzini then got beaten. And then they cut inside, gives it to sort of Dennis. Diop's looks like he's daydreaming a little bit. He does a couple of dummy shots, put Dawson in his arse, whips into the top corner, and you're thinking, please no. We know he can play like that. Please don't play like that for 90 minutes. Fortunately, he didn't. And fortunately, neither did Antonio, Lanzini, or Dawson. It's sort of poor defended to some extent, and it was a continuation of what we've seen in past weeks. But from then on, it just got a little bit more positive as each minute went by, Gonzo. And we had to wait a little while. It took us 17 minutes precisely to get our equaliser. We had a few bits and pieces, plenty of corners getting racked up as well, but we didn't quite triple Backman. However, Souček did in 27th minute, but what a move that was.
It was a really good goal, and it was quite ironic, really, actually, bearing in mind everyone keeps attacking us down our left-hand side because we were weak there. I thought Watford were very weak down their left-hand side, which, of course, is our right. And I thought we sort of noticed that was the case. A lovely exchange of passes, actually, from... there was a little 1-2 between Soufal and Bowen, who had by this point are starting to combine really well. Bowen had a scuff shot just before that as well. So Bowen was getting in, Soufal was getting into the game. Little exchange of passes, little 1-2, and Souček's he ran into space, and the ball was right in front of him. And I just thought he finished really well, and with the sort of consummate professionalism and certainly with the technical ability we know he's got when he gets in front of goal. He doesn't panic. He's got an eye for goal. It was nice to see him in the box and scoring a goal. But yeah, great work from the guys, and particularly Bowen.
I thought it was a great move. Noble's pass into Lanzini to start the move is fantastic as well. And we were, before the goal, we were knocking about nicely. It felt like maybe in previous games where we were taking 3 touches. We were taking 2 today. We were just moving a little bit quicker, a little bit sharper. I think Watford being poor certainly helps, because it seemed quite easy for us to find space at times. It felt like a simple pass, and someone would have 3 yards ahead of me. How the hell has that guy found space there? But you can only beat what's in front of you. I thought Noble's pass to Lanzini was brilliant. I thought Lanzini's run off the ball to give Souček the space was brilliant as well. The run from Souček, the pass from Bowen. There was lots of things to be positive about this. And the strike, he just puts his laces through it. But Backman doesn't even move in the end. He just he sort of leans to the right, doesn't go down. And it's a fantastic finish from Souček. And it was to be a glimpse, if you like, of Souček, one example of what was to enjoy from his performance as well. But 2 minutes later, Gonzo, it was 2 on West Ham.
Yeah, it was. And I really like this move. And I love the fact that Lanzini got a wonderful tackle in there, really dispossessed whoever it was, dispossessed the player, and then played a really quick ball, really quick ball into Antonio. Antonio got his head up, looking around, and Ben Rama was in for the second game running in a goal scoring position. He drifted in there. Whether that's something I've been working on, I don't know. But actually looking up, and we were to see it later on with the last goal as well, albeit not Ben Rama. But actually just somebody being in there. How often do we complain? There's no one in there. And I thought that was really important that Ben Rama took up that position. But great awareness from Lanzini, great awareness from Antonio, and a nice, he sort of had to slide the finishing, to get in ahead of the defender, didn't he? Sort of a tackled finish, wasn't it? But enough power on it, and did really well to be in a position and finish well.
Yeah, 2-1 at half time. Gonzo, what were you thinking? What did you make of the opening 45?
I thought the front three were rampant. Actually, I got to say, I thought they were really on it. I say front three, I mean Ben Rama and Antonio and Bowen. So I thought they were just causing mayhem for their opposite numbers. I felt there was some truth in that point in what Ranieri had been saying about the training. Or actually they didn't look quite on it. But having said that, I thought Southampton were poor and we couldn't beat them. But there were times when I thought they might press Watford, and they weren't pressing us as well. So I thought this is allowing us the space. And I felt the real key to unlocking those three as well, because Noble was enjoying a good game, and Souček was enjoying a good game. I thought the real key to what I was enjoying, what I saw, was we had the front three were on it, and what was key was we had somebody that was going to give them the ball and do it quickly and be bright and imaginative in midfield, and that was Lanzini. I make no apologies for banging on about him, and it might be a confirmation bias and this, that, and the other, but he's our best footballer. He's not indulgent on the ball. If he'd take half a touch if he thought he could move it on quickly and get it to a place better than him. And I thought it was just, there were so many good factors, and I just thought we were really on it. We looked really good possession, lots of attacks, massive pressure from us as well. And I didn't even think at that point that Watford would get another goal, got to be honest with you.
Yeah, I thought, you thought our front three was rampant in the first half. I thought our middle three were fantastic. I thought Noble, Lanzini and Souček, I thought they were running the game, to be honest with you. They were moving the ball nicely between the three of them, along with all the others round about them as well. It was a joy to watch. I think something like 62% possession in the first half. But sometimes you see the stat and think, really? I saw that stat and thought, yeah, it feels about right. Sure. It does feel like we've had that much of possession. I thought we were moving the ball about really, really well. Really quickly, too. There was quite often in recent weeks, it feels like we've been knocking about between the centre-backs and that, a bit too slow with the build-up. But today, it felt like we were trying to get on the front foot whenever it was possible in the first half. And 2-1 at half time, I was confident we were going to go on to win the game. I was still a little bit nervous with our defensive side of it. I still thought we looked a little bit shaky at times when Watford come forward, but everybody just looked like in the mood. Even in the first half, I thought Antonio looked up for it. He was sort of in beast mode, as he calls it. Ben Rama was silky, playing with confidence off the back of his goal against Southampton. Bowen was just being Jared Bowen, but I don't know how you felt, right? Because I put out a tweet at half time. I thought our formation was looking good. And I thought Lanzini was playing deeper. And a couple of people said, well, he's playing the second striker. So I don't know. I don't know how you saw it. But I thought Lanzini was a bit deeper today. And Noble was even deeper, which allowed Souček to get further forward. And actually, I thought that Souček and Lanzini, if you like, were making some really good forward runs when Noble not even entering Watford's final third, essentially. And I was impressed by that.
But I agree with all of you, really, because I thought Lanzini was allowed to do what the hell he wanted today. And as a result, I felt he was able to drift where he wanted, find the pockets of space and really link up the play, just knit it all together. I was so impressed. Listen, he won't be man of the match, but I was so impressed with what he did. But he was all over the place. He was left, right. He was up at points. Like when we have that pressure, and it's a way we play. We do often, when we get up the pitch, get to a point where we're sort of on the corner of the 18-yard box, either right or left. And sometimes it might be Cresswell and Rice, and they'll play a little interchange. Or in this instance, it was, it'd be a Ben Rama and Lanzini, or Souček was popping up in Rice-like positions today on the left as well. If you notice, he put a crossover when he was in almost a left-wing position. And it was really nicely. Lanzini would knit all that together and just pop up in those little pockets, right, left, on the D, deeper, everywhere, really. I was really pleased. I hope he starts as many games as possible, really.
Just inside the second half, West Ham were in dreamland. It was immediate 3-1. However, the goal was allowed. Just Jarvis Bowen got a deserved goal. I don't know where to start with this one. It probably is confirmation bias, right? But in recent weeks, VAR hasn't been on our side. And, I took the opinion after the Southampton game. I felt it was a penalty for Southampton. I still think that. I know most people think that it was not a penalty. However, today, it felt a bit harsh. It felt like, because there's two instances here. The first one is the Bowen disallowed goal, and the second one is the penalty, of course. And it just felt like they were rewinding it almost as long as possible on both occasions. And the foul from Souček, what did you make of it? Do you think it was rightly to get disallowed, or do you think the goal should have stood?
Well, both. It was a foul. It was a foul. But it really was. It's a long way to bring it back. I think it's gone by then. And I just think there's so many other points. You know this, Geo, and I can say this without anybody that watches these videos regularly. If we'd have conceded that goal, I'd be sat here saying the worst thing we can do is blame that a foul wasn't given on the halfway line. So there's a lot of opportunities to stop that goal going in between then and there. I think it was a long way. How, at what point do you cut it off? At what point do you drag it back? What about if 4 or 5 moves before that, the goalkeeper had not thrown it out, or there'd been a foul throw, or so? How far are you going to drag it back? It was a foul, so it didn't get the ball. It kicked Dennis the Menace's foot. That happened. But a lot happened between the goal and then. I was surprised to see it disallowed, but I wasn't bothered because we were quite dominant at that point. But what was interesting was it was a good goal as well. That's the other thing. Again, that was when Souček found himself in that sort of left pocket. So there was a lot happened. Souček won the ball, then ran round and got into the left wing position, crossed the ball over, it was deflected, and Bowen would have been a deserved goal for Bowen, of course. But that's my gripe is, yes, it was a foul. The letter of the law, that I don't know. I'm not sure how much it had to do with the goal. I don't know.
I completely agree. I think it was a foul in A, how far back they go, but also B, the rule of thumb for VAR, if you like, is clear and obvious. I don't think it's that clear and obvious. Is that a clear and obvious foul? Yes. But is that clear and obvious error by the referee? I don't think so. I think there's two different things there, and I'm not sure it is. And I just felt a bit more aggrieved for Jared Bowen. I'm a bit like you. I was confident we were going to go on to win the game anyway. However, Bowen, it was like, he deserves the goal. He deserves that goal for his performance so far and recently, kind of thing. But we got a penalty, Gonzo. 10 minutes later, we got a penalty. VAR had to look at this one because Kucha chested it back to Backman. Jared Bowen nipped in and got it. And it just felt that they were almost trying to find a reason not to give it, because they rewound it a bit to see if Antonio was offside. Then they discovered he wasn't. So we'll see if the ball went out of play. No, it didn't. Okay, let's rewind it even further. And it was almost like they were checking for a reason not to give this penalty. But penalty stood. Mr. Martin Noble scored. I think he's scored in every season in the Premier League since 2006 now, and is now equal Paulo Di Canio's 47 Premier League goals for the Hammers.
Oh, yeah, and you know what? Cool as a cucumber, wasn't he? But to win the penalty, Bowen's going to get a bit of a reputation, actually, because it's obviously something he's done, because that was at the same manoeuvre with Mendy for the penalty against Chelsea. So he's nipping in there. And when they were replaying it, I in many respects, the first time I saw it, I had a little bit of sympathy. But if you look at it, the keeper actually doesn't go the fastest route to goal. He doesn't. If you watch it again, he doesn't make a straight line for the goal. He cuts across. So if the ball's there, he doesn't make a straight line for the ball. He goes a little bit towards Bowen, just a little bit. He sort of knew what he was doing, really. He's not actually, honestly, you go and watch it again. He's aiming, if he's to fall on the ball, but he's aiming about 2 foot away from the ball. So I think it was it clear? Have a look at it. But I get what you mean. It does seem like the world's against you at some point. Noble, I mean, he'd be absolutely delighted he was delighted. You can see how he celebrated as well. And it was a real calmness about and that's obviously his second penalty that he's scored since the Man United one, so he'll feel that he's redeemed himself now, and the fans were singing. Fans were in great voice today as well, Geo, and the fans were singing the Mark Noble song. Fully deserved 3-1 at that point, because we felt aggrieved not to have scored the other goal.
We made it 4-1 right at the death. Gonzo getting his first goal for West Ham United. Nikola Vlasic. Another assist for Jared Bowen.
another assist for Joe Bowen. Really, really good. I love the way sort of he did a bit of Jesse Lingard then, actually. He slowed it down completely, then went fast again, slowed it down, basically slowed the defender down, bang, whoop, round him. And then just lovely awareness, picked out Vlasic. And this is what I'm talking about. Vlasic found himself, as they're working on trying, Vlasic found himself, easy for me to say, in the position that Ben Rama found himself in against Southampton there. So, I mean, just to, finished it nicely. And I think everybody is... everybody's pleased with Vlasic, aren't they, to score that? He needed a goal. It's really important that he gets off there. Ben Rama's going to go off to the tournament, to the African Cup of Nations soon. So good time for him to get off the mark. Well done, Bowen, who was, well, we'll talk about that later. But great 4-1, sealed the deal, didn't it?
What do you make of the game overall then? 4-1, much needed 3 points, much needed sort of players on the score sheet, and a much better performance. It was helped, I think, by Watford to some extent. I think they were poor, and I think they were decimated, and I was a bit like yourself. I think towards the end of the first half, and especially towards the end of the game, I sort of believe Ranieri a little bit when he said, we've not really had much training. I thought, they do look a little bit like that. I was almost surprised at how poor they were and how little fight there was from Watford. But regardless, what do I call it? A professional performance by West Ham, a solid win.
Yeah, and I think it was quite evident that we had a little bit more. We'll talk about him in a bit. A little bit more assured defending across the whole of the back line. Certainly, that gave us a good platform. I thought it was really good. I felt it sort of worked the midfield as well. I felt it's going to sound crazy. I felt there was a happier Souček. I felt there was a bit more freedom. I don't know.
When he scored, I thought his celebration was, I don't know, he stood still. He looked angry, didn't he? Most players either celebrate or run and get the ball and say, come on, let's get going. let's get back and try and get ahead and stuff. And he just sort of stood still, didn't really move.
Well, we've all heard the rumours, haven't we? So, I mean, maybe there was a bit of that in there. But, I felt that was really good. I felt Noble played a big part a really big part in that. We were. I say we were worried. I've not put it on anyone else. I was worried. Noble inclusion, but I feel I would have preferred to see crowd. But Noble, gave a calm performance today. And offered a range of passing and a range of control, and was. Well, I said I thought Lanzini ran the game from that pocket, almost a quarterback, but if you like, but in many respects, thank you everybody. I think Noble was the conductor of the orchestra, if you know what I mean. I thought there was a calmness to him there, and he really deserved the goal, and I do think that really allowed everybody else to play really well. And I thought on the times because he was exposed a couple of times for pace, and I thought he was covered well by his teammates. Really do, particularly the fullbacks sort of looked after Noble in that sense as well. But he wasn't shy to try and get back in there and do it. But I thought overall, particularly bearing in mind how he started, even Dawson. I mean, let's be fair, he had a terrible start. By the end of it, was back to his command himself. Didn't let it bother him. And played well. I think, and this is what you get when you get a number of players in your team that will do the player ratings. We'll do that, later on. But when you get a number of players in your team, all sort of 7s and above and stuff like that, then you get a better overall team performance. And I thought we looked fit. I thought we looked vibrant. I thought there was an urgency about us. And I felt we had a cutting edge today. And that's the point. I know it's easy to say that after four goals, but I wrote it quite early in my notes. We had a cutting edge today, which I feel we've lacked a little bit recently. So, I obviously thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought we looked a lot sharper today. Like I said, I thought we were taking one touch less when moving the ball about. I thought there was a bit more intensity to West Ham to get up the pitch a bit more. I still felt Lanzini was playing deeper than usual, particularly in the first half, dropping in beside Noble, and that released Souček. I think the shackles was off to him today, and that was probably his best performance of the season, actually, and gives Moyes a few questions for the Crystal Palace game as to what you're going to do then, because we've also got the return of Declan Rice. How are you going to get back Thomas Souček playing in the Palace game? We'll deal with that in the Palace preview, but for today, thoroughly enjoyed it, and there was a lot of enjoyable player performances out there, but perhaps more importantly, it was an enjoyable team performance as well. The equaliser today, it's one that will almost get overshadowed because we've gone on to score a further 3 goals. But that was a fantastic goal. It's probably my favourite goal of the season, that from West Ham. The passing, the movement, how quick we move the ball about as well. And that through ball from Jared Bowen is just beautiful. What a beautiful pass that is from Jared Bowen. I thought Ben Johnson was very, very solid at left back. In possession, listen, he's not the best in possession, particularly when he's on the wrong side of the pitch, but I think today was more about almost like safety, just get the win by any means, a solid performance. And I thought he'd done that. I think he changed it. You remove the weakness, don't you? When Ben Johnson was there instead of Masuaku, there's no target. You don't have one player to keep going after, kind of thing. And I think that showed there was a balanced performance from West Ham today. Very, very happy. Individual performance, take a pick.
Well, I'm going to mention him as I know you just did, but I'd intended to, so I'm not going to stop. I thought Johnson was outstanding. And I really did. As a defender, you're absolutely right. Didn't offer anywhere near going forward as what Soufal did on the right. But we needed a defender. We needed a defensive left back. If you could get out extra stuff and you can cross the ball like Cresswell, great. But actually, no. What we needed was a defender and someone that enjoyed defending. And I thought he was strong. I thought he was resolute. I thought he was dominant in the air. I thought he was dominant in the tackle. I thought he had one focus on his mind, and that is, I'm not going to let them attack down this side. And all I can say is what had been a weakness from that side of our team was honestly that the dam had been bricked up. Honestly, there was no way through. And let's put it into perspective, playing against a very, very, very good player. And by and large, I'm not saying that Dennis never got the better of him, but by and large, if they had 10 duels between them, I'm telling you now, I thought Johnson won 7 or 8 of them. And that's massive and that's impressive. And actually, Johnson's building up quite a portfolio of one. I love these duels, these one-on-ones, Geo. I love watching them. And actually, he's building up quite a portfolio of Rashford and Sterling and good players, really good wide players who we can come away from the game thinking, I've got the better of them. Son as well, against Tottenham, obviously against Tottenham because Son don't pay for anyone else. But yeah, I'm really impressed with Johnson. Relieved the man of the match. Lanzini, I've spoken about. Well done, Ben Rama. I thought he was sizzling in the first half, and I wanted to see was unpredictability from him, and I thought he gave that. He allowed himself his one shot, but he hit the bar with it. To be fair, with his standard Ben Rama manoeuvre. Aside from that, I thought he did offer. You didn't know whether he was going to turn right or left. But he was driving into the box. Thought he carried the ball with him really, really well. And when you get all that front three firing, and we did, because all 3 were on it in that first half, I thought it made a hell of a difference to the team.
I'll pick out 2. You could pay quite a lot and talk about a lot today, but I'll keep it restricted. But just quickly, people asking what the Souček rumours are. Will inevitably come on to them in the Crystal Palace preview to some extent. It sort of feeds into that because obviously we don't use the live chat during the review, otherwise we'll be here all night, kind of thing. There's 2 in particular I want to mention. It'd be easy to talk about Lanzini and just repeat what you've said, but first one is Noble. I thought he was fantastic today. I really, really did. I feared the worst. And it doesn't mean anyone doesn't like him or anything like that. It's just, you're just worried because of his age, naturally. I thought he dictated play from start to finish today. He was probably the most important player out there for West Ham in some respects. Perhaps not as influential in the final third, of course, as what Jared Bowen was. But in regards to just leadership, calmness, moving the ball nicely, neatly, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. You could see at times when they allowed the Jared Bowen goal was because of the Souček foul. Noble went over, just put his arms behind his back and just had a conversation with the referee to say, look, I'm just here to talk to you. I just thought he was fantastic, Mark Noble. I think his passing today was fantastic as well. And when I speak about us taking one less touch today, sometimes he doesn't even take, he literally takes one and that's it. He gets the ball and hits it first time and it's usually knocks it 20 yards to the other side of the pitch or something and just moves us up the pitch a few yards. His vision's brilliant. His passing's brilliant. But no one's really questioned that. People have only really questioned, has he got the legs to do it? I don't think he needed it today. I think, like I said, I think Watford were the ideal opponent for us. I think they were potentially the ideal opponents for Mark Noble in there. But also credit to the manager for Mark Noble's role, because he was a defensive midfield today. He wasn't replacing Declan Rice. He was there to sit in front of the back four. And in the build-up we had, well, you had concerns about Martin Noble protecting Barrow. I didn't think he had to do it. I don't think he had to protect the back four as such. But he was in front of it just to move the ball about, and it made a huge, huge difference to us, especially with Souček and Lanzini just in front of him. I don't know how effective they would have been without Martin Noble behind them, just passing the ball. Just simple 10-yard pass. There you go. Move for the ball. If you get stuck, turn around. I'm here for you. Another one is Michail Antonio. I thought he was better in the first half than the second half. And that's just the way the game went. But in the second half, he had that Cianalta, or whatever the guy's name was, with a funny haircut. He wasn't even playing football by then, the match at centre back. The geezer was just there to wind up Antonio, and it'd have been easy for Antonio to snap. And we've seen Antonio get wound up before in the past. Southampton, earlier in the season, when he got a second yellow card for a stupid lunging tackle he did. We've seen Antonio get frustrated in that. But today, I thought he was reasonably well composed. I thought he worked hard. Every time he went forward, he was in the right positions. He was strong. He was fast. And a good assist for Ben Rama. I thought it was a really, really good performance from Antonio today. Actually, very, very encouraging. And more of that. It wasn't quite full-on beast mode from Antonio today, but I thought we got mini beast mode today. What would you call it? Cow mode? I don't know.
I wouldn't. It's more like sort of an angry Jack Russell. An angry Jack Russell, really.
Well, we saw angry Jack Russell, Antonio, today, and I liked it. Very, very encouraging. We're man of match. I think we both... there you go. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everybody else who's popped it. You can tell we've won. Everyone's happy. Man of match.
Before I do, Watford needs to be a little bit careful, actually, because that guy, I'm glad you brought it up because otherwise I forgot to say it. The guy that was doing the stuff on Antonio, it's my favourite ice cream. It killed their momentum. It didn't. They needed time. They needed to attack, and there was a little point. It wasn't much. It was actually a couple of really good smart saves by Fabianski near the end. It wasn't much, but in the second half, and this was 3-1, they had a little period, a little 5-10 minute period where they started to have a little bit more controllable. And they started doing all that crazy stuff, and it fragmented the play, and it stopped the play and allowed us to have a little roll around, a little complain, and all the rest of it. And it killed their own momentum. I thought it was a really naive thing to do. The whole point of the dark arts is meant to help you. I thought their own dark arts hindered them today, Watford, and he'll need to keep an eye on that, Ranieri. But Bowen, obviously, man of the match, Geo. I think Jared Bowen, if I was Jared Bowen at the moment, I'd be walking around with me puffing my chest out and my head held very, very high, walking around knowing that I was one of the best players in the Premier League because he was absolutely sensational. It's not just a game against Watford. He's been in really good form for quite some time now. He seems to be bringing... he's getting better, basically. He's getting better. He's improving. He's bringing some flair and some subtlety to his game as well. Decision-making's getting better. We're really seeing quite something from Bowen, and he was irresistible today. And on a day when Dennis was being heralded as the heir apparent to Mo Salah. I don't want the Liverpool links, by the way, because he was this outstanding form that Dennis has been in and what Dennis has been doing. I think Bowen was 3 times as good as Dennis today, actually. And that's taken into account Dennis's excellent first goal. And he's a very, very good player. But if you were looking at one player to buy as an attacker, as a wide attacker from today's game, it would be Bowen that you went and got. I thought he was outstanding.
Only missing a goal, which was ruled out through no fault of his own. 2 assists officially. And you go by fancy Premier League, 3 assists because of the penalty he won as well. Unbelievable. Jared Bowen was just unbelievable today. That assist for the first goal is one that I can watch over and over again. And at the minute, Mo Salah is the only right winger in the league in better form than him. And that includes Saka is in good form for Arsenal at the moment, plays right wing. Not as good as Jared Bowen. He's just, what an incredible player he is. His set pieces today, while we didn't penalise them with him, his deliveries were fantastic. Off the ball, he worked really hard. There was one point in the second half, I don't know who it was. He chased someone anyway all the way down that side, blocked out for a corner, and turned around and started screaming at the defence because he's had to sprint 15 yards back and help someone out a little bit. And you start to see a little bit of sort of authority and leadership from Jared Bowen in this West Ham team. And I like that as well. I thought he was just brilliant. Every time he got the ball, I thought he was going to make something happen. Every time we got the ball, I thought, please give it to Jared Bowen. Can we give it to Jared Bowen out on the right, please? What a performance. He's just getting better and better every single week. And he's been, yes, we've won today, but in previous weeks, 1 win in 7, it's been a bit doom and gloom, but his performances have been one of the shining lights. His performances have been something that stood up to the test of poor form, if you like. And then today, when everybody else is in better form or playing better, Jared Bowen benefits from it. He benefits from Lanzini playing well and Antonio playing well because he needs that. And he got it today. I thought he linked up well with Sufal, linked up well with Antonio, linked up well with Lanzini, and obviously provided Vlasic with assist as well. He's almost like the perfect teammate, someone that will work their arse off, will track back, they'll come back and help you if you're struggling with your opponent, but also someone who last season, Bowen used to be selfish. Jared Bowen used to be selfish last season. Too often he'd get in the final third and he'd shoot when there was a better option on. This season he's changed that. We've seen it now with these 3 assists in the last 2 games. He gets his head up quicker. His passing's got a lot better. He doesn't. Some players in the Premier League, including West Ham, perhaps when they get into Jared Bowen's position, maybe not today, but certainly Southampton one, they would have hit it in the box and hoped for something. Just got into he doesn't. He just stays calm, takes an extra touch, and picks someone out perfectly and puts it on a plate for them. Wonderful performance from Jared Bowen. Any final words from yourself?
No, just absolutely delighted. Much needed win, Geo. Really, we didn't need another loss on the back of that run we've just had. It's really important to get our tails up before Crystal Palace game and to get a little bit of something going on. I know it's not much, but I didn't want to drop too many more games. We need to try and entice players over in January, and they need to be taking a little glance at West Ham. And last thing we don't want to see is loads of red X's where the form is, and we still want to be in and around and in contention. And actually, silly little things like Tottenham drew, right? Tottenham 1-1, was that right? Little things like that do help. Just when you're saying come and join West Ham, okay, because players will think, okay, if I join a club in 6th or 7th, I can help them get up to that, climb 3 or 4 places because players are confident in their own abilities. So I think it's just all in all, and we need the feel good factor. Would have been an awful lot of moans and groans and worry and concern and analysis. Let's be perfectly honest with you on the whole team, on David Moyes, on the board, on transfer strategy, which we probably don't need at the moment. We probably just need to get in there, win a couple of games, and get a couple of players in. Second half of the season, bang! Let's go in the quarterfinals of Europe. So let's really have a go. So we needed a feel good factor today, and we got it.
We're not in the quarterfinals yet. We've still got another round to go. You keep saying this. We're not in the quarterfinals. We're in the last 16. That is the stage before.
We will be. Don't worry.
I think we will be too if the luck of the draw and all that. But as for today, I think it was important to get the win. And I was sort of thinking just get the win regardless of how. It could be the worst performance in the world. As long as we get the 3 points, I don't care. But actually, we got much better than that. We got the 3 points, 4 goals, played some really good football. Lots of positives to take from this one going into the Crystal Palace one. And if we get a win against Palace, suddenly the bigger picture's back on, I guess. It looks a lot brighter, and all of a sudden we're looking up rather than down, looking forward rather than backwards, and everything changes. 2 wins can do a lot of difference in the Premier League. If you were to go at the end of the season, you were to go to last season's table and take 6 points off of teams, you'd see a massive difference in where they finish, and teams might have survived relegation, teams would have dropped out the top 4 and so on like that. So 6 points doesn't sound much 2 games, but it is. 6 points is huge in the Premier League these days. The window is massive. But today, I think Watford was the ideal opponents for us today. We've taken advantage of having that, but that's all right. You could probably look at other teams around us, and we've probably been unfortunate that the Norwich game got postponed when you see their results over the last couple of weeks and stuff. So we've had a little bit of unluckiness as well as luckiness, and today we've got a little bit of that, but you can only beat what's in front of you. I thought we beat them convincingly in the end. It was a strong win, a solid performance from West Ham, plenty of really good performances from players. And the best thing is we've given David Moyes a bit of a dilemma here is what do you do with Declan Rice? Because obviously it gets back into the team, but how do you put him back into the team? Where do you put him back in the team? Because nobody, out of that starting 11 today, nobody deserves to be dropped for the Crystal Palace one. That's a good thing. That's probably the best thing for today. If you enjoyed this review, drop a like on it, subscribe if you're around here. Myself and Gonzo will be back in a couple of days with a preview ahead of the Crystal Palace game. Catch you in a bit.